Seahawks Today rolls on. We are talking roster moves for your Seattle Seahawks as the folks over at Bleacher Report put a list together for all 32 teams of 3 moves they need to make prior to training camp. We will dissect them and react coming up in just a bit. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. A little challenge out there from Tom Downey and the gang over at the Cowboys Report, as they got about 529 likes on a video last week, and they said, no way that could happen on Seahawks Today. And I said, you know what, Tom? Just like the Cowboys in the postseason, you guys are going to choke, as the Seahawks 12s are going to prove you wrong. Let's get 550-plus likes on today's video. I believe you guys can make it happen. Like the video, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with number 1 from Bleacher Report of their recommended roster moves. The first was that Seattle should add a center. And, of course, they already have Oluwatimi, the second-year center out of Michigan. They also signed this past offseason Nick Harris from the Cleveland Browns, who is a center and a fullback. Here's more from Matt Holder of Bleacher Report on this possibility. The Seattle Seahawks had to replace 3 starting interior offensive linemen this offseason, which elevated Oluwatimi into the first-string center spot heading into training camp. However, Oluwatimi got limited action as a rookie last season, so picking up a veteran as an insurance policy would be a smart move. Now, from what we've been told, it seems like Seattle is pretty confident in Olu and in Harris as a decent backup. But while this guy still remains available, I'm keeping an eye out on Connor Williams, and not necessarily even as a center. Remember, he has experience playing both center and guard, and last year did so at an elite level. He was the highest graded interior offensive lineman by Pro Football Focus with an 86.5 grade, previously with the Cowboys, with the Dolphins, for the former second-round pick out of Texas. And so while I don't necessarily would say I agree with Bleacher Report that the Seahawks need to go out and get a center, a guy like Connor Williams, if he's still sitting out there, and the Seahawks do have money to spend, about $9 million in cap space, then, okay, we can have that discussion. And for me, it's not even necessarily Connor Williams having to play center. Maybe he plays guard, whatever it may be. Maybe Olu moves to guard potentially. You can mix things up a bit, whatever. But I don't think you have to sign a center. But if a guy like Connor Williams, for example, is sitting out there, then okay, we can have that discussion. But I wouldn't say it's the number 1 priority, as Bleacher Report is alluding to here. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks sign a guy like Connor Williams, for example? Let us know. Type S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in on our pinned comment today. Seahawks Today is closing in on 53,000 subscribers here on the channel. You can see we are just over 400 away from reaching that next milestone. We're bringing you daily news and rumors, interactive mailbags, live shows twice a week, Madden, Sims, breaking news, and more. We are your off-season headquarters, where there is no off-season here on Seahawks Today. Subscribe now for free. Join the family, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Number 2 on Bleacher Report's roster moves for the Seattle Seahawks is trading Dee Eskridge, that this needs to happen. Here's more from Matt Holder. 3 years ago, Eskridge was the talk of the Senior Bowl as he put on a strong performance that led to the Seahawks using a second-round pick on him. However, he struggled to stay healthy and hasn't got much playing time in the Emerald City. The latter likely won't change with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba in front of the Western Michigan product. Seattle should see what it can get for the wideout, especially since he's entering a contract year, and allow him the opportunity to have a bigger role elsewhere. Now, if somebody calls up the Seahawks tomorrow and makes you an offer for Dee Eskridge, by all means, sounds great. I don't disagree that the Seahawks should trade Dee Eskridge, but here's the reality. Dee Eskridge right now is not on pace to make the Seahawks 53-man roster at the moment. Who the hell is trading for Dee Eskridge right now? That to me is like, okay, it sounds nice. Like, yeah, they should trade Dee Eskridge. That's cool, but why would anybody trade for Dee Eskridge when he's been a major disappointment, the worst draft pick the Seahawks have made in recent memory, can't stay healthy, he's had off-the-field issues, he can't be productive And then some people say, well, special teams, he can be effective in kick return. He's never even done punt returns before, not even in college. And the Seahawks have made it very clear under new head coach Mike Macdonald, they're not looking for special teams players. They're looking for guys that can be impactful on offense and defense in addition to special teams. So there just really isn't a place for Dee Eskridge. I don't know why anyone would trade for him. I did get a tweet the other day from my guy, another fat guy, who asked me this question. He said, hey, Tyler Jones, your thoughts on a straight-up trade, Dee Eskridge to the Vikings for Lewis Cine? And I'm like, okay. I mean, sure. Get some safety help. He's a guy that hasn't really been healthy there. He's had some issues there in Minnesota. I mean, I would, at this point, I would do the Monix trade from semi-pro, and I think I would take Dee Eskridge for a washing machine at this point. Just anything. So, yeah, if there's a trade out there, if somebody comes calling and says, yeah, I want Dee Eskridge, by all means, let's get that done. But I just don't see this happening of the Seahawks being able to trade for Dee Eskridge here. You can see just a lack of production in his career. Just a total of 17 catches is all that he's been able to do. If somebody wants him, they can have him, but I would be very shocked if Seattle could pull this off and get Dee Eskridge out of town. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks trade Dee Eskridge? Type T for trade, K for keep. I'm spamming T for trade, but I don't know who's trading for him. Weigh in. Let us know in the comments section. Last on the list of Bleacher Report's recommended roster moves for Seattle is signing a safety. And you look at the safety position, some big changes already this offseason for Seattle at safety with the departures of Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams, Julian Love coming off a Pro Bowl campaign, Rayshawn Jenkins coming in from the Jags, but then some question marks beyond that. You did bring in Kayvon Wallace, but he might be more of a corner. Kobe Bryant also still around, but kind of same thing like Kayvon Wallace. He might be more of a corner as well. So what about signing a safety? Here's more from Matt Holder. Julian Love proved to be a versatile safety last season, making it easier for the Seahawks to move on from Jamal Adams this offseason. The front office did sign Rayshawn Jenkins to start next to Love, but Jenkins has been more of an average player throughout his career. Seattle should explore its options and see if there's someone who can at least compete for the job in training camp. Worst case, the team adds some depth to a thin position group. Now, here's the key for me when I look at these safety positions. For me, it comes down to how much confidence do the Seahawks have in Kobe Bryant? Because as Ron Swanson once said, never half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. And with Kobe Bryant, we've seen some flashes of brilliance at times where he's played all right at safety, where he's played all right at corner, but never consistently well at both positions, right? And he has been banged up, been a little injured. If Kobe Bryant can have that breakout campaign and show that he's worthwhile, and remember, he was not great in coverage last year. His coverage stats weren't good at all. If that is the case, if he can't improve, then sure, maybe look for other options. But if Kobe Bryant can show himself and can get the job done, then I don't see the need to go sign a safety. It all comes down to Kobe Bryant for me. The top free agents right now, there's a pretty good market when it comes to safeties at this point as we're closing in on the month of June, heading towards July. You're talking about Justin Simmons still out there, who was a second-team All-Pro last year. I would guess he's probably going to be out of the Seahawks price range at this point. Eddie Jackson is out there. You might be able to afford a guy like Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson still got some good years left. Micah Hyde is available, although Hyde has said that he's either going to go back and play for the Bills or he's retiring. So I don't know if that's an option. Quandre Diggs is still available at this point in time, which I find very surprising that we've heard about the Seahawks having discussions with Jamal Adams, which I'm very opposed to, but they haven't mentioned at all about Quandre Diggs. I would gladly take Quandre back over Jamal Diggs. In fact, I'm not opposed to Quandre coming back at all. So what do you guys think? Do the Seahawks need to sign a safety? I don't think they need to at this point. I'm feeling confident about Kobe Bryant, maybe more so than other people. What do you guys think? Weigh in, tell us in the comments section. If you enjoyed today's show, like the video. We'd certainly appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. We'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today.